Right, Act 5. You've followed me on this journey through Shakespeare's greatest play. Beautiful comedy, tinged with sadness and darkness and threat. And we're finally there. Will it be resolved? Of course it will be resolved. It's a comedy. What we need is Sebastian to unlock the play. Act 5, one mammoth scene, hell to stage. I know, I've tried it twice. You got people everywhere. Almost everybody comes on. I think the only exception is the sea captain, so it's a bit of a corker. I've resorted to a polo shirt. Hope you'll forgive that. It's only one colour as well. Yeah, I'm starting to run out of ideas. Maybe I have to do suit and tie next. Anyway, we're in front of Olivia's house. We're outside. Festi, Fabian. Festi is waving a letter. We know what that letter is because we just saw it in Act 4. Bring me pen, ink, light, paper. Okay, so Malvolio has written the letter. Festi's holding it. Now, as thou lovest me, says Fabian, let me see his letter. Good Master Fabian, grant me another request. Anything. Do not desire to see this letter. Oh, typical Festi manages to trick him. Says Fabian, this is to give a dog, and in recompense desire my dog again. In comes Orsino. With Viola, with Curio, Valentine, attendants, okay? It seems he's finally got himself out of his bed, out of his melancholy, and he's actually come to visit. He's actually come to visit Olivia, to woo her, to sue for her hand. Bit late, mate. And, to try and push this to some sort of conclusion. Belong you to the Lady Olivia, friends? Aye, sir, says Festi, were some of her trappings. Friends is very affectionate. He's trying to be a man of the people, isn't he? Oh, I know thee well. How dost thou, my good fellow? I've put there Orsino speaking in verse, Festi sticking to prose. Oh, truly, sir, the better for my woes and the worse for my friends, so I should have done that as one line, apologies. Oh, just the contrary, the better for thy friends, surely, you're better off for your friends. Festi picks up on friends there and refers to it. Always clever. No, sir, the worse. How could that be? Marry, sir, they praise me, my friends, they praise me and make an ass of me. Now my foes tell me plainly I am an ass. So that by my foes, sir, I profit in knowledge of myself, and by my friends I'm abused. Words again. So that conclusions to be kisses, if your 4 negatives make your 2 affirmatives, why then the worse for my friends and the better for my foes. Okay? Perhaps suggesting that Orsino is deceived by flattery, by flatterers, which was the way of courts, of course. Why, this is excellent. By my troth, sir, no, though it please you to be one of my friends, give me money, please. Thou shalt not be the worse for me, there's gold. But it would be double dealing, sir. I would you could make it another. Can we have 2, please? Oh, you give me ill counsel. Put your grace in your pocket, sir. Your grace, proper address for a duke. In other words, sort of lose some of your pretentiousness, perhaps, some of your authority, and just go with the moment. Let your flesh and blood obey it. In other words, give me more money, please, and excuse my slight rudeness in asking. He did say, "You give me ill counsel," so excuse me for that. Oh, well, I will be so much a sinner to be a double dealer. There's another. Double dealer, again, referring to, double dealing, disguise, deceit. Festi tries again. Primo, secundo, tertio is a good play. Is it like a game of dice, a play in a card game, whatever. And the old saying is the third pays for all. The triplex, sir, is a good tripping measure. There's a dance. Or the bells of St. Bennet, sir, may put you in mind. 1, 2, 3. Third time lucky, is basically saying. You can fool no more money out of me at this throw of the dice. If you will let your lady know I am here to speak with her and bring her along with you, it may awake my bounty further. And he picks up on that very quickly. Oh, marry, sir, a lullaby to your bounty, let it sleep. Lullaby to your bounty, till I come again. I go, sir, but I would not have you to think that my desire of having is the sin of covetousness. But as you say, sir, let your bounty take a nap. I will awake it anon. He's going to get more money. He rushes off to get Olivia. Meanwhile, of course, for some random reason, they've decided to present Antonio to Orsino in Olivia's garden. Happens. Viola immediately points out, there he is. There's Antonio. Here comes the man, sir, that did rescue me. Now, a little bit of confusion possibly there for Antonio. Yes, I rescued her from the sea. Rescued him from the sea. Or are we talking about the rescue from the sword fight? The pretend fencing? Oh, says Orsino, not very happy to see Antonio. That face of his I do remember well. Yet when I saw it last, it was besmeared as black as Vulcan in the smoke of war. He's the god of fire. A bawbling vessel was he captain of. For shallow draught and bulk unprizable. It was a rubbish little ship. You know, it wasn't very deep in the water, and it was unworthy. Bawbling, small. With which such scatheful grapple did he make. He was good fighter, though. Rubbish ship, but good fighter. Grappled well with our fleet, with the most noble bottom of our fleet, that very envy and the tongue of loss cried fame and honour on him. So he was a good fighter. What's the matter? What is the issue here, officers? Please tell me. The tongue of loss, even those who were defeated, said he was good. He was good at fighting. Well, says the officer, Orsino, this is that Antonio that took the Phoenix and her fraught from Candy, her freight. It's a ship. Candy is another name for Crete. He's really going for Antonio. And this is he that did the tiger board when your young nephew Titus lost his leg. Here in the streets, desperate of shame and state, in private brabble did we apprehend him, private brawl, desperate of shame and state, couldn't care less about the laws, couldn't care less about his own shame, his own reputation, he was just fighting in the streets. But Viola speaks for him. He did me kindness, sir, he drew on my side, but in conclusion, at the end, he put strange speech upon me, I know not what 'twas but distraction. Oh, says Orsino, notable pirate, thou salt water thief. Okay, well, we know that Illyria's famous for pirates. Notable, notorious. What foolish boldness brought thee to their mercies, whom thou in terms so bloody and so dear hast made thine enemies? Not dear being nice, but dear being extreme. What's brought you in front of me? We're enemies. Well, Antonio fights for his innocence. Orsino, noble sir, be pleased that I shake off these names you give me. Antonio never yet was thief or pirate, though I confess on basin ground enough Orsino's enemy. A witchcraft drew me hither. That most ingrateful boy there by your side, from the rude seas enraged and foamy-mouthed I redeem. A wrack past hope he was. His life I gave him, and did thereto add my love, without retention or restraint, all his, in dedication. For his sake did I expose myself pure for his love into the danger of this adverse town. Drew to defend him when he was beset, where being apprehended his false cunning, not meaning to partake with me in danger, taught him to face me out of his acquaintance, and grew a 20 years removed thing, while one would wink. Close your eyes, and but to wink in Shakespeare's time is to close your eyes. And denied me mine own purse, which I had recommended to his use not half an hour before. Viola straight in with a half line. How can this be? Interjecting before Orsino answers, or while Orsino prepares to answer. So, that speaks for itself, that speech. A witchcraft, though, notice, spell or enchantment, we've had that a couple of times already in the play. All in his dedication dedicated to him. Pure for his love, purely for his love. this adverse town, this hostile town, not meaning to partake. So he is accusing Sebastian of not wanting to join in the dangerous situation with him, to partake with me in danger. He's false cunning. And I'd done so much for him, and he was ingrateful. I'd rescued him. I'd done all these things for him, given my love without retention or restraint, dedicated to him. But he faced me out, rudely pretended that he didn't know me, and was a 20 years removed thing, as if he'd not seen me or didn't. He was removed from me 20 years, while as quick as one would close one's eyes. Denied me my own purse, which I'd recommended to his use not half an hour before. How can this be? Says Viola. When came he to this town? Says Orsino. Well, today, my lord, and for 3 months before, no interim, not a minute's vacancy, both day and night did we keep company. 3 months, I said to you, the time in this play is all over the place. I put that there. Both not a minute's vacancy, both day and night did we keep company. It's quite normal for men to share a room, share a bed. We don't have to take anything from that. Oh, hang on a minute. Olivia's arrived. Shut up, mate. Don't care about you. You're random. Go away. Here comes the Countess now. Heaven walks on earth. But for thee, fellow, thy words are madness. Madness again. 3 months this youth hath tended upon me. But more of that anon. Take him aside. I've got more important things to deal with. I have got the love of my life, apparently, in front of me. Now heaven walks on earth. We're back to his rhetoric of the first scene. Now this is fascinating. Just see how many lines it takes before the changeable Orsino changes again. Olivia straight to him, but beautifully judged writing here. The way that she does, she tries to be polite to Orsino, but at the same time she's looking at Viola, looking at Sebastian, she thinks, who's next to Orsino, and saying, well, hang on a minute, where you been? What's going on? I'll try and give life to that if I can. What would my lord, but that he may not have, my love, wherein Olivia may seem serviceable. Cesario, you do not keep promise with me. Madam? Gracious Olivia, what do you say, Cesario? Good my lord would speak. My duty hushes me. Oh, if it be aught to the old tune, my lord, it is as fat and fulsome to mine ear as howling after music. Still so cruel, still so constant, lord. What, to perverseness, you uncivil lady, to whose ingrate and unauspicious altars my soul the faithfullest offerings has breathed out that e'er devotion tendered? What shall I do? What it please my lord that shall become him. Oh, why should I not, had I the heart to do it, like to the Egyptian thief at point of death, kill what I love? So, Orsino, I say again, what does Viola see in him, really? I mean, she's such a clever girl, honestly. So, hopefully my voice is tried to suggest there, here we've got to Orsino, polite, wherein Olivia may seem serviceable, polite language, and then she too turns to more important things. Cesario, you've broken your promise. Where have you gone? We're betrothed, remember? Viola not got a clue. Bewilderment again. Orsino tries to break through this conversation between Viola and Olivia. Gracious Olivia, excuse me, I'm the Duke here. Can you pay attention to me and not to some servant boy? But Olivia can't stop. What do you say, Cesario? Good my lord, just shut up a minute, please. Okay. But Viola, always playing her role. My lord would speak. My duty hushes me. Okay? I can't. Shh. Okay? So Olivia addresses Orsino and says, basically, I don't want to hear you. Not that old stuff again. Fat and fulsome, lovely alliteration, gross and nauseating. like the surfeit, there's too much. There, go away. There's howling after music, a bit like a dog howling. Um, Music, if music be the food of love, surfeiting. Yeah, there it is again. Oh, says Orsino, still so cruel. You still really rejecting me? Yes, of course, because you're a plonker. No, I'm constant. I haven't changed. I haven't changed. I'm constant in my thoughts. And um, uncivil again there. I've written down ill-mannered, used a lot in this play, that is so much about manners and propriety. Um, so, I think Malvolio was accused of being uncivil. What's a perverseness? You're being obstinate, you're being perverse in this. What to perverseness, you uncivil lady? I have I've poured out my soul to you. I've breathed out. We've got a sort of sacrifice idea here, haven't we? And we're going to get that in a minute as well. On the altars, on your altars, I've poured out my offerings, the offerings of my soul. What do you expect me to do? Well, I don't care, says Olivia. Yay! Even what it please my lord that should be coming. Whatever you want, what you will, perhaps, to remind us of the subtitle of the play. And then Orsino goes into this weird world of punishment and revenge and nonsense. Why should I not had I the heart to do it? Like to the Egyptian thief at point of death, kill what I love. Actually, this is a story where the Egyptian thief doesn't succeed in killing. But he's referring to a story about somebody rescuing themselves by killing. Now, does he mean kill Olivia? Or does... Well, yeah, I think we'll go with Olivia here because he turns to Viola in a second. So, a savage jealousy that sometimes savours nobly. Yes, I know I'll be savage, he seems to be admitting. But it will taste noble. Looks weird to me, but anyway. Hear me this. Since you to non-regardance cast my faith, and that I partly know the instrument that screws me from my true place in your favour, Viola, I know that you fancy my servant. He's worked it out. Okay, the instrument that screws me like a torture instrument that wrenches me away, wrenches you away. Well, no, wrenches me away from you, from my true place in your favour. Yeah, wrenches me away from your heart. Saying there, I've paraphrased it. Cesario has supplanted, taken the place of Orsino in Olivia's heart. And we've got lots of imagery here of power. Well, we're going to see that in a second. Sorry, Tyrant. We're going to see that in Tyrant. Live you the marble-breasted tyrant, still like a statue. Patience on a monument. A tyrant who has political power. You can stay a tyrant. But this, your minion, literally means sexual favourite. Don't tell the children who go and watch Minions. Literally means that. So, whom I know you love, and whom by heaven I swear I tender dearly. I care, I feel tenderly for Viola. I've put here violent language. He thinks she's just been a tyrant, so this justifies his behaviour. A savage jealousy that sometimes savours nobly. This your minion, Cesario, whom I know you love, and whom by heaven I swear I tender dearly, him will I tear out of that cruel eye, where he sits crowned in his master's spite. The violence of that. I'm going to tear Cesario out of your eye. And he addresses Viola. Come, boy, with me. My thoughts are ripe in mischief. I'll sacrifice the lamb that I do love to spite a raven's heart within a dove. So I just say where he sits crowned in his master's spite. There again, like the tyrant, we've got this idea of kings and so on and crowns. Reminds me of if I do not usurp myself, I am. Remember from Olivia. But then addressing Viola, I'll sacrifice the lamb that I do love, presumably Viola, Cesario, To spite a raven's heart within a dove. Is that Olivia? Probably. She's got a dark heart within a beautiful outside. Um, Usual themes. I don't need to repeat it. What's Viola going to say? I mean, surely a modern audience will be saying, "Yeah, run, girl, don't go near him." But no, it's a comedy. I'll go with it. I most jocund, apt, and willingly to do you rest 1,000 deaths would die. You know, do we see die as a sexual meaning that they have in the 17th century? Very, very surprising. Cheerfully, jocund, cheerful. Yeah, I'd die for you any time. I suppose it's romantic, but okay, I'll stop. I'll leave Orsino alone. Of course, Olivia sees Sebastian, not, following Orsino, saying that he would die for him. So look at the bewilderment in Olivia. Where goes Cesario? After him I love, says Viola, more than I love these eyes, more than my life, more by all mores than e'er I shall love wife. Well, she shan't love wife because she's a girl. More by all more. Sorry, if I do feign, if I'm not pretending here. Okay, we have lots of pretending in this play, but if I do feign, you witnesses above punish my life for tainting of my love. Tainting, another repeated word, making it contaminated. If I do feign, yeah, I've written there, Violet's whole existence is feigned. She is pretending because she's still being a boy. I me detested! How am I beguiled? Violet hasn't got a clue what she's talking about. Who does beguile you? Who does you wrong? Hast thou forgot thyself? Is it so long? We're gone into rhyme. Call forth the Holy Father, she says to some random servant. They run off and get the priest. Okay. Come away, says Orsino. It's very quick, this. Look. Oh, yeah, let me know. Sorry, I just realised what's about to happen. Let's just read this. Hast thou forgot thyself? Is it so long? Call forth the Holy Father. Come, away. Whither, my lord? Cesario. Husband, stay. Husband? Aye, husband. Can he that deny? Husband, sirrah? No, my lord, not I. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, what a shock moment that is. It's fantastic. That word husband drops like a bomb in the middle of the stage. Just brilliant. Cesario, husband! Ah! Everybody's going, what on earth? What's going on here? Husband, hang on. Fantastic, fantastic writing. Fantastic moment of drama. Okay, get the priest. He'll back me up. Orsino trying to pull Cesario away, and Olivia breaking that moment by using the word husband. There it is, 3 times. Husband, 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 4 times. Olivia, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Poor Olivia. Poor Olivia's so trapped. And this whole play is trapped until Sebastian arrives. Spoiler alert, sorry. But Olivia, and this again reminds me and shows how clever Shakespeare's psychology is, Shakespeare's character formation is. She is the one that had these ideas about breaking through the class barriers. She is the one that Maria stole from in saying, when Maria wrote, "Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them. Some have greatness thrust upon them. You're a servant, I'm thrusting greatness on you." And tries to encourage Viola to be strong. Alas, it is the baseness of thy fear. You think that you're low, but you're not. It makes thee strangle thy propriety. You're denying your proper place with me. Maybe because you're too scared of Orsino. Okay, fear not, Cesario. Take thy fortunes up. Be that thou know'st thou art. Identity. Be who you really are. Whoops. And then thou art as great as that thou fearst. Some are born great. Yeah? Some have greatness thrust upon them. As great as that thou fearest, is Orsino. She's worried that Viola Cesario is too scared. Okay, and in comes the priest, and she carries on. "O welcome, Father. Father, I charge thee by thy reverence here to unfold, though lately we intended to keep in darkness, what occasion now reveals before 'tis ripe. What thou dost know hath newly passed between this youth and me. Newly passed, just happened. I know I said we were going to keep it secret. Lately we intended to keep in darkness. We were going to keep it all quiet. But can you just say what happened?" And we get, and this is important. It's important. This um, what's the word I want? Confirmation, if you like, assertion of the reality, except it isn't quite reality yet. "A contract of eternal bond of love, confirmed by he says the same thing about 6 times. "Confirmed by mutual joinder of your hands," like a hand fasting. In the old days, they used to tie their hands together, and it was like tying the knot. "Attested by the holy close of lips, strengthened by interchangement of your rings, and all the ceremony of this compact sealed in my function by my testimony, since when my watch hath told me toward my grave I have travelled but 2 hours." Yeah. You contracted, you're betrothed, you two, 2 hours ago. All right? So, priest has said it. It must be true. And so what does Orsino do now? He turns on poor Cesario. A cub, I've written here, cunning fox, shapeless bear, true nature cannot be identified, cunning, deceitful. "O thou dissembling cub! What wilt thou be when time hath sowed a grizzle on thy case? When you're older, you're only young and you're deceitful and nasty. What are you going to be like when you're older? Or will not else thy craft so quickly grow that thine own trip shall be thine overthrow? You're going to get so bad you're going to trip yourself up. Farewell and take her, but direct thy feet where thou and I henceforth may never meet. I'll never want to see you again." Violet's not going to like that. She loves him. She, look at her. "My lord, I do protest." And Olivia, still confused, still playing on the fact that this is Sebastian. Look at the broken line. "My lord, I do protest." "Oh, do not swear. Hold little faith, though thou hast too much fear. Hold a little faith, though thou hast too much fear." And bang, in comes more confusion. Sir Andrew, bloody coxcomb, blood pouring from his head, his coxcomb. It's another word for a fool as well, of course. A cloth perhaps held to it. "Oh, for the love of God, a surgeon, send one presently to Sir Toby." What's the matter? It's broke my head across and given Sir Toby a bloody coxcomb too. "Oh, for the love of God, your help. I'd rather than £40 I were at home." £40 again, always referring to money. Yes, aptly, fool's cap, coxcomb. We're back to prose. Everybody's looking at this new drama that's appeared on stage. Blood. Reality. I mean, remember, this is comedy. We've got real blood. So again, comedy tinged with darkness. "Who has done this, Sir Andrew?" "Oh, the Count's gentleman, one Cesario." Now, at this point, everybody's looking at Cesario and going, he doesn't look like the sort of bloke who break people's heads across. And also, anyway, he's just been here. So how can... We're baffled. Okay, but and that bafflement is going to cause a laugh in the audience. "One Cesario, we took him for a coward, but he's the very devil incarnate." Wrongly used word, incarnate, he means. "My gentleman Cesario." And Andrew sees him and jumps with fear because he's just been beaten by him. "Odds life flings, here he is. You broke my head for nothing, and that I did. I was set on to do it by Sir Toby. It wasn't my fault. Why are you horrible to me?" Okay. Yeah, you broke my head for nothing, and that I did. Oh, so it wasn't nothing then. You did do something. Odds lifelings by God's little lives. Why'd you speak to me? Says Cesario. "I never hurt you. You drew your..." So thinking back to the fencing, that's the last time she saw him. "You drew your sword upon me without cause, but I bespoke you fair and hurt you not." "If a bloody coxcomb be a hurt, you have hurt me. I think you set nothing by a bloody coxcomb." "Set nothing, care not." And in comes Sir Toby. Now he's worse the wear. Not only is he injured, he's drunk again, and Festi's supporting him. Yeah. Here comes Sir Toby, halting, limping. You shall hear more, but if he had not been in drink, he would have tickled you other gates than he did. With his sword. Tickled you with his sword. How now, gentlemen? How is't with you?
That's all one. Has hurt me. There's an end on.
Not particularly coherent as I've written there.
Sot. Did see Dick Surgeon, sot.
A sot is a word. I think we've had it before, actually. Another word for a drunk. It's rather ironic that he calls Festi a drunk. Oh, he's drunk, Sir Toby, and Aragon. His eyes were set at 8 in the morning.
Well, he's a rogue. Passing measures, Pavan. I hate a drunken rogue.
Right, passing measures, Pavan. It's another dance. Again, appropriate for Sir Toby. Passe mezzo pavana. There you go. So can he say that while he's drunk? No, not very well. Very well. A slow and stately dance, suggesting that the surgeon is just a slow coach, okay, and not responding to need. But of course, the beautiful irony. I hate a drunken rogue. Oh, says Olivia, away with him. Who hath made this havoc with them? Ready for this? I'll help you, Sir Toby, because we'll be dressed together.
Will you help? An asshead, a coxcomb, and a knave, a thin-faced knave, a gull.
And he walks away from him, leaving him forlorn, leaving him broken. The man that he thought was his friend has just insulted him, said he's an idiot, and a villain, and thin-faced, and a gull or a dupe, somebody who's been gulled. We talk about darkness in this play. There was the word, will you deny me now? The words, will you deny me now, from Antonio. There are these darker moments, and this is one of the darkest. Poor Andrew. The realization that he has been made an absolute fool of, and he doesn't have a friend at all. He's so open with it. We'll be dressed. Sorry about the missing apostrophe there. We'll be dressed together. You get lost. And Olivia, you can see the sympathy in her voice. You can hear the sympathy in her voice, sorry, or in her line. You can see it. Get him to bed. Let his hurt be looked to. So sad. And they all go. And enter Sebastian. As I've written there, the play at last is unlocked. Now, for the sake of the comedy, for the sake of suspense, Sebastian doesn't see Viola immediately, but everyone else on stage, remember we've got lots of people gathered here, everyone else is looking at Sebastian and then looking at Viola and going, twins. Twins dressed the same. Male twins. How's that work? I mean, I don't mean male twins are unusual. I just mean, how can it be? I am sorry, madam. I have hurt your kinsman. But had it been the brother of my blood, remember I never had a brother, I must have done no less with wit and safety. You throw a strange regard upon me. Yeah, well, of course she does. And by that I do perceive it hath offended you. He thinks he's done wrong. He thinks she's cross with him. Pardon me, sweet one. Even for the vows we made each other, but so late ago. Oh, right. You see how the play is now unravelling. Orsino's the first to comment. One face. One voice. One habit. And two persons. A natural perspective that is and is not. Nothing that is so is so. Like a perspective glass, but real. Okay? But it's both real but it's crazily unreal. Sebastian, Shakespeare organises it so that Sebastian doesn't see Viola yet. Okay, so first of all, he sees Antonio. Oh, Antonio, my dear Antonio, how have the hours racked and tortured me since I have lost thee? Sebastian? Are you? Fear'st thou that, Antonio? How have you made division of yourself? An apple cleft in two is not more twin than these two creatures. Which is Sebastian? And we get brilliant line, hilarious line from Olivia. Most wonderful. I've got two. I just love that. But yeah, of course, Antonio saying these two creatures draws Sebastian's attention to his sister. Do I stand there? I never had a brother. Nor can there be that deity in my nature of here and everywhere. I had a sister whom the blind waves and surges have devoured. Of charity, what kin are you to me? What countryman? What name? What parentage? So this is the establishing. This is the affirming. I think you need music at this moment. This is a slow, deliberate. Are you real? And that's important in the play because of all that I've said about reality before. It's vital that they ascertain: is this a joke? Is this real? Is this another deception? Soft music playing, making it almost dreamlike, I think would be really appropriate. But look at all the questions. What kin? What countryman? What name? What parentage? I've got to get the facts. Okay, says Viola, of Messaline. Sebastian was my father. Such a Sebastian was my brother too. So went he suited to his watery tomb, dressed like you, to his tomb in the sea. If spirits can assume, so are you a ghost perhaps? If spirits can assume both form and suit, you come to fright us. A spirit I am indeed. Yes, I am a spirit because I'm, Christians believed they were spirit. They had a soul within them, their spirit. But dressed, we can see a clothes metaphor here. Once again, I am indeed, but am in that dimension grossly clad with flesh. I'm clothed with flesh, which from the womb I did participate. Were you a woman, as the rest goes even, I should my tears let fall upon your cheek, and say, thrice welcome, drowned Viola. I think it's drowned Viola. We've got to carry on. We're not stopping yet. My father had a mole upon his brow, and so had mine, and died that day when Viola from her birth had numbered 13 years. Oh, that record is lively in my soul. He finished indeed his mortal act, that day that made my sister 13 years. If nothing stops, to make us happy both. But this, my masculine usurped attire, do not embrace me. It's weird that, don't, it's like it's not happened yet. Like a ghost that's become flesh. I'm not quite dry yet. Mixing with metaphors, but you know what I mean. It's not quite real enough. Do not embrace me till each circumstance of place, time, fortune do cohere and jump that I am Viola. Okay, so until she has her clothes, they can't properly unite. Back to clothes again. So she remains a boy. I mean, you could say that's just Shakespeare giving the lad playing Viola an easier job. Excuse me. So let's go and get my clothes. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, this is a bit of plot that we're just going to shove in. Which to confirm, I'll bring you to a captain in this town, where lie my maiden weeds, by whose gentle help I was preserved to serve, nice sound, to serve this noble count. All the occurrence of my fortune since hath been between this lady and this lord. Oh, so comes it, lady, you have been mistook. But nature to her bias drew in that. Bias is a term from bowls. It's the weight in the bowl that makes it curve. Okay, so it's like sort of guiding it into the jack. You would have been contracted to a maid, nor are you therein by my life deceived. You are betrothed both to a maid and a man. I'm a maid, says Sebastian, because I'm a virgin. Okay, so you're, but also you will be betrothed to Viola because you will marry me and you will become her sister-in-law. Okay, but also, again, with our gender bending play, we can talk about you are betrothed to both a maid and a man. You know, you're getting both genders. You know, why did Olivia like? Actually, we see this in that film in She's the Man. You see this. You see why Olivia in that film likes Cesario because she feels a kinship. You know, when in that film, you must watch it if you haven't watched it. In that film, you know, you like your shoes. Now, a man wouldn't say, well, sorry, stereotypes, but tradition has it that a man wouldn't say that, but a girl would, and that's what attracts Olivia. You know, Olivia is attracted to Viola Cesario because of the feminine attributes, as well as because of the amazing language. Now, forgive me if I'm speaking slightly out of turn here and not being quite politically correct, but I think we're being asked to play with these ideas. It is surely obvious that Orsino is attracted to this young boy. Okay, now he's going to be released from that because luckily it's a girl. I say luckily. I mean, I'm getting myself into a mess, but you understand what I'm hinting at here. We've got all sorts of cross-gender ideas happening that Shakespeare has created 400 years ago, more than 400 years ago. And that line, "You are betrothed both to a maid and a man," that underlines that. Orsino butts in. "Be not amazed, right noble is his blood. If this be so, as yet the glass seems true, the mirror. I shall have share in this most happy wreck." Shipwreck, happy wreck, oxymoron. Look how he still calls Cesario a boy. Well, I'll just go back to what I've just been saying. "Boy, thou hast said to me 1,000 times, thou never shouldst love woman like to me." She said that to Viola, to Olivia. Sorry, you said that to Olivia. Oh, I made a mistake there. But you know, anyway, doesn't matter. And all those sayings will I overswear, and all those swearings keep as true in soul as does that orbed continent, the fire that severs day from night. The sun. I'll be as true as the sun. "Give me thy hand," says Orsino. "Let me see thee and thy woman's weeds." That's another word for clothes. "Yeah, the captain," I've already said this, "the captain that did bring me first on shore hath my maid's garments. He, upon some action, is now in durance. He's been arrested. He's been being kept captive by under a suit of Malvolio's, at Malvolio's suit. A gentleman and follower of my lady's." Oh, we found out why we can't have the girls' clothes, why we're not going to see the captain, but also we've been reminded of Malvolio because that story isn't finished yet. Remember, this scene began with the letter. That letter is hiding away and waiting to explode on the stage, rather like Sebastian did. "Oh, he shall enlarge him," says Olivia. "Fetch Malvolio hither." "Oh, yet alas, now I remember me. They say, poor gentleman, he's much distract." And there comes Feste with the letter and Fabian at his side. "Most extracting frenzy of mine own." He's her own passion, her own madness, distracting her. Madness of love, passion, again. "From my remembrance clearly banished his." How does he, Sirrah? Clearly banished, completely banished. Ask Feste how he's getting on, and Feste can't stop the game. "Oh, truly, madam, he holds Beelzebub," that's another name for the devil, in case you didn't know, "Beelzebub at the stave's end, as well as a man in his case may do. Has here writ a letter to you. I should have given to you today morning, but as a madman's epistles are no gospels, so it skills not much when they are delivered. Delivered a letter, deliver a speech, deliver a... deliver Malvolio, deliver him from captivity." Punning as usual. Opened, and read it.
Look then to be well edified when the fool delivers the madman. By the Lord, madam!
How now, art thou mad? No, madam, I do but read madness, and your ladyship will have it as it ought to be. You must allow vox. Allow me to give voice to this. I'm reading a madman's letter, so I've got to read it like a madman. Again, playing a role. Again, not letting go of the joke, of the jest. He will not give up with it. So Olivia turns to Fabian and asks Fabian to do it because Feste is clearly being rather bitter about all this. Prithee, read in the right wits. Well, so I do, Madonna, but to read his right wits is to read thus. Therefore, perpend, my princess, and give here. Consider the content of the letter. Read it you, sirrah. And Fabian reads. By the Lord, madam, you wrong me. The world shall know it. Though you put me into darkness, and given your drunken cousin rule over me, yet have I the benefit of my senses as well as your ladyship. I have your own letter that induced me to the semblance I put on, with the which I doubt not but to do myself much right. I'm going to put things right with it. Benefit of the senses as well as your ladyship. Again, who's mad? You know, I'm mad. I'm as sane as you are. I'm as sane as you are. Said to Sir Topaz. Said to Feste. So think of me as you please. I leave my duty a little unthought of and speak out of my injury. I'm sorry I'm being disrespectful, but I've been injured. I'm seriously affected by this. And it's signed, the madly used Malvolio. Did he write this? Aye, madam. This savours not much of distraction, says Orsino, and Olivia says, see him delivered. Fabian, bring him hither. Off goes Fabian. So, bit of marriage business to sort out. My lord, so please you, these things further thought on, to think me as well a sister as a wife, sister-in-law. Don't want me for a wife anymore, but I will be your sister. One day shall crown the alliance on, so please you, here at my house and at my proper cost. Way, she's going to pay for it all. Way. Orsino goes for that. Madam, I am most apt to embrace your offer. And to Viola... Sorry, I must stop laughing about it. I just wish she'd say, no! Your master quits you, and for your service done him so much against the metal of your sex, so far beneath your soft and tender breeding, so class there as well as gender. Orsino arrogantly as usual says, oh dear, you did all those dirty things that girls shouldn't do. And since you called me master for so long, here is my hand. You shall from this time be your master's mistress. So a mistress can be a sexual mistress, but also you'll be my mistress. You'll be in charge of me. You'll rule me. More interesting gender ideas. And Olivia sums that up with a sister, you are she. Double sister through Sebastian as well as through Viola. So in comes Malvolio, and again, as I say, if you haven't seen it in the prison scene, the darkened room scene, then you see it now. You see this broken man. Is it the Trevor Nunn where his wig? He's got a toupee and he holds it in his hand. I think it is in that film. And as I say, the yellow stockings, filthy. The everything just. This broken man, you have to sympathise with him, and at the climax of this comedy, we have, in fact, it gets worse. It sort of the darkness gets stronger as Shakespeare's comedies go on. We saw Jaques in As You Like It. If you don't know the play, don't worry. But Jaques storms off and will not be part of the marriage celebrations, and here Malvolio is not in keeping with the climax of a comedy. We're but a few pages from the end now, so there he stands, this broken, forlorn character. Is this the madman? Aye, my lord, this same. How now, Malvolio? Madam, you have done me wrong. Notorious wrong. Have I, Malvolio? No.
Lady, you have. Pray you peruse that letter. You must not now deny it is your hand. Write from it if you can, in hand or phrase. Um, I don't need to say that. Or say it is not your seal nor your invention. You can say none of this. We'll grant it then. And tell me in the modesty of honour why you have given me such clear lights of favour, and bade me come smiling and cross-gartered to you, put on yellow stockings, and frown upon Sir Toby and the lighter people. And acting this in an obedient hope, why have you suffered me to be imprisoned, and kept in a dark house, visited by the priest, made the most notorious geck and gull that e'er invention played on? Tell me, why?
Alas, Malvolio, this is not my writing. Though I confess much like the character, but out of question 'tis Maria's hand. And now I do bethink me, it was she first told me thou wast mad. Then camest in smiling, and in such forms which here were presupposed upon thee in the letter. Prithee, be content. This practice hath most shrewdly passed upon thee, but when we know the grounds and authors of it, thou shalt be both the plaintiff and the judge of thine own cause. So, complete sympathy from Olivia, and we see that a number of times in the play. She's a sympathetic, she's a kindly character on the whole. And she reveals to him, you can imagine his head falling in horror at what's happened. And, I'm not going to gloss every single word there. Yeah, I just commented here on phrase, her very phrases, said Malvolio. Suffered me to be imprisoned, permitted. How have you allowed that to happen? Ere invention played on, trickery played with. I've been played with, I've been toyed with. And the explanation from Olivia, it's going to break his heart, absolutely break his heart. Fabian, possibly thinking I better save my skin here, I'm going to be in trouble, tries to sort of justify what happened, even though he says I might ruin the moment. This is a time for celebration. This is a time for marriage. We've got reuniting of long lost brother and sister. So good madam, hear me speak, and let no quarrel nor no brawl to come taint the condition of this present hour. I don't want to spoil things, which I have wondered at. In hope it shall not, most freely I confess, myself and Toby set this device against Malvolio here. Doesn't mention Maria. Not yet, anyway. Upon some stubborn and uncourteous parts we had conceived against him. Right, why did we do it? Because we felt that Malvolio was uncivil again, uncourteous, stubborn. He had those sorts of roles, those sorts of characteristics that we conceived. We decided on this. We had conceived against him. Maria wrote the letter at Sir Toby's great importunity, urging, in recompense whereof he hath married her. Don't think people are going to be very pleased about that at the moment, but we did say that it would happen. Yay! Wrong moment, slightly awkward. How with a sportful malice it was followed. Hang on, sportful malice. Oxymoron. Really? Fun, evil. You could possibly gloss it as. May rather pluck on laughter than revenge. I don't think so. But, again, we're back to that balance of dark and light in the play, of laughter and sadness. If that the injuries be justly weighed that have on both sides passed, each side was as bad as the other. Is that true? Festi certainly thinks so, as we're about to see. Oh, alas. Poor fool. Now that's an affectionate term there. That fool is an affectionate term, but of course it's apt for Malvolio. He's been made a fool of. Alas, poor fool, how have they baffled thee? Festi won't stop. Remember the very first scene we saw Festi and Malvolio. Why laugh you at this barren rascal? Unless you laugh a minister occasion to him, he's gagged. Okay, we're about to see that. Slightly misquoted. Like I've just slightly misquoted it. Won't give up. Metaphorically, he is twisting the knife in Malvolio's back or heart, even worse. Why? Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrown upon them. I was one, sir, in this interlude.
One Sir Topaz, sir.
But that's all one.
By the Lord, fool, I am not mad.
But do you remember? Madam, why laugh you at such a barren rascal? And you smile not. He's gagged. And thus the whirligig of time brings in his revenges. So we do get justification for the plot against Malvolio. I said to you at the time, if you watched that one, I said to you, Festi's whole livelihood is being threatened by Malvolio. And Malvolio is pointing out, if you don't minister occasion to him, if you don't laugh at him, he's out on his ear and he will die in the streets. Okay? That's all one little phrase that's going to turn up in the song at the end. Misquoting, quite nicely done by Shakespeare, have greatness thrown upon them, not thrust upon them. And similarly with Why Laugh You at Such a Barren Rascal. The whirligig of time, fortune, okay, the wheel of fortune, spinning top, brings in his revenges. The wheel of fortune, you will know, I'm sure, the idea is that you might be at the top of it one moment and then it spins and suddenly you're at the bottom. Okay, so the revenge has been sweet for Festi. He's loved it because that'll teach you, Malvolio. So again, the nastiness of the subplot. Hilarious. Don't forget the hilarity of the yellow stockings. I mean, that was fantastic. But it all went too far. Excess. Surfeiting the appetite may sicken and so die. We come back to those first lines again. And Malvolio's response is not to forgive, not to forget, but instead, I'll be revenged on the whole pack of you. And out he goes, pack of dogs, hunting again. Oh yes, whirligig of time, reference to time too, which we've had before. Olivia's sympathy, once again, he hath been most notoriously abused. That's what Malvolio said, and she's agreeing. Pursue him, says Orsino, entreat him to a peace. He hath not told of the captain yet. We need the clothes. We need the clothes. We need that captain, even though he's been invisible throughout the play. When that is known and golden time convents, a solemn combination shall be made of our dear souls, of our loving souls. Meantime, sweet sister, we will not part from hence. Cesario, come, for so you shall be while you are a man. That's weird. Stay a man. You're still Cesario. Just like boy. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't say it's weird. No, it is weird. It's weird that he knows she's a girl. And yet, is it weird? Unusual. But when in other habits you are seen, other clothes, Orsino's mistress and his fancy's queen. Okay, remember right at the beginning he said, so full of shapes is fancy. The ruler of his passion she will be. She will be fancy's queen, the queen of his passion. And they exit, usually leaving Festi alone on the stage. And this is quite traditional for a comedy. Again, if you know As You Like It, Rosalind at the end of the play asks for applause. Puck, of course, at the end of Midsummer Night's Dream, you almost certainly do know, asking for applause. So this song asks that. But this song is interesting. It's interesting because it's, again, so melancholy. Here we are in a comedy. This is a Shakespearean comedy. Oh ho 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 ho. Oh no, we're finishing with a song that is sad, mournful, slow, and is all about the rain. It raineth every day. Let's just have a quick look at it. When that I was and a little tiny boy, with hey ho, the wind and the rain, a foolish thing was but a toy. for the rain it raineth every day. A foolish thing, a joke was nothing. Maybe referring to the joke that he's helped carry out. With hey ho, hey ho. Oh well, hey ho. Oh well. Bit tired, bit resigned. So again, the mood is melancholy. But when I came to man's estate with hey ho, the wind and the rain, against knaves and thieves men shut their gates. Is that shutting the gates on Festi? Is that the life that he's found difficult to live? For the rain it raineth every day. But when I came alas to wive, there's marriage, lots of marriage, but alas to wife, is it the happiest time? With hey ho, the wind and the rain. By swaggering could I never thrive. For the rain it raineth every day. Arrogance never thrives. When I came to my beds, going to your beds is a phrase for getting old. The hey ho, the wind and the rain. With tosspots still our drunken heads. For the rain it raineth every day. People still got drunk. Toby, perhaps, still got drunk. Nothing changes. The world doesn't change, even though I'm getting old. And he sums it all up. It's interesting how he's going through time, in case you didn't spotted that. Tiny boy, man's estate, getting married, getting old, and then we finish the play, finish the whole song on this. A great while ago, the world begun. Yeah, we're not going to carry on going through life. Let's just finish with hey ho, the wind and the rain. But that's all one. That's all one. Our play is done. Our play. Perhaps the whole company comes on now. And we'll strive to please you every day. Please clap. Okay? That wasn't me saying that. That's Festi saying that. I hope to do another film on context, because it's really important, and some exam boards require context. I also hope to do something about how to write an essay. We'll see how I get on. But for now, thank you. If you've watched all 8, I think, videos, and hopefully you've got a much better knowledge of the play, much better understanding of the play, and that can feed your anything you've received in lessons and so on, and augment it. But in the meantime, I'm going to say goodbye, and thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in a future time, maybe for another play. I might even go for another play. Not sure. See how it goes. Cheers.